Many people consider Sunday a little bit of a Christmas this week, the start of the NFL season. Carl Deffenbaugh, big Denver Broncos fan, he's going to be glued to the television screen on Sunday night when Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth call the game in Denver when the Broncos and Peyton Manning hosts the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got Carl's thoughts on the game and the Broncos season as we talk a little NFL. It's Carl Deffenbaugh on the Sports Buffet Podcast.
Carl Deffenbaugh joins me here on the Sports Buffet Podcast. We'll wrap up with a little NFL talk week one. Normally people feel like it's Christmas on Sunday, and Carl definitely is going to be interested, I believe, in a little game on Sunday evening with the Broncos.
I might be tuned into that one, yeah.
Yeah, maybe tuned into that one. Broncos and Steelers. What are your expectations? We talked about this earlier on when you had you on, but what are your expectations of a Peyton Manning-led Broncos?
Number one goal is to get all my work done Sunday. I might miss all the rest of the games as long as I'm ready to go by 8:30 to tune in for that Broncos-Steelers game. That's all I care about. It will be interesting to see what this week looks like for the Broncos offense, especially offensively. Peyton Manning looked very good in his last preseason game. I think he was 10 for 12 and really flowing with the offense after a couple of shaky starts earlier in the preseason. Steelers defense always tough, and one thing that, again, because it's in Denver, safety Ryan Clark will not play. He's got that sickle cell trait, and a lot of people say that overtime win when Tebow hits Demarius Thomas for the game winner, they say if Ryan Clark had been able to play, that wouldn't have happened. So he, again, will be sort of a massive hole in the Steelers' secondary. Hopefully Manning's able to exploit that, and it'll just be really fun to see him in blue and orange.
Where do you have the Broncos realistically finishing? Have you looked at the schedule to kind of determine the record?
The schedule is one of the hardest ones in the league, so I'm a little worried about that. I think I'd be a little more confident if they didn't have such a tough slate. They're opening, I think, 4 or 5 games is one of the hardest in the league. I know Peter King from Sports Illustrated, who I read all the time, picked them to go to the Super Bowl and Manning to win the MVP, so I'm hoping that's not any kind of Sports Illustrated curse or anything like that. I'd certainly like to see that. I see it more, obviously as a fan, I'm trying to be optimistic. I would say 10-6, division winners, and then we'll see what they do in the playoffs.
Anything else you're looking forward to with the start of the NFL season? A lot of people, I think, locally probably really want to see what RG3 can do in Week 1. Me being a Saints fan, I hope it's not much.
I know a lot of the talk has been about all these young quarterbacks that are in. I think it's 10 of the 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL are either first or second-year players. RG3, Andrew Luck, of course, right at the top of that list. I sort of think that he's going to struggle. I think Luck's going to have a much stronger first year, just his experience in the pro-style offense coming from Stanford and running some similar things with the running backs and the 2 tight end sets that he was used to from college. I think it will be a little more difficult transition for RG3 in Washington. You, the Saints fan, I imagine you're ready to see some games and stop talking about everything else that's been going on down there in New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think that the Saints will be pulled together by this whole bounty gate thing, and I'm not extremely worried. I actually did my NFL predictions this week, Carl. I'm not going to tell you where I had the Broncos picked because you might never come back, but I have the Saints 12-4, and it's funny because when you pick every game, which is what I did with a few friends of mine, it's funny how records will just creep up on you because I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are not a very good football team, and yet I have them finishing at 7-9. So
that is too shabby record. I think a lot of folks down there in Florida would take it.
And unfortunately, that's the same record I have the Denver Broncos finishing with.
Oh no, you're killing me.
Well, hey, I'm just picking with my head, not my heart, because I have.
No faith in Manning in his health for this season.
I'm sorry.
No faith in Manning's health for the season.
I don't know. It might be just because they're playing the toughest schedule, and I think the AFC West is so wide open that. I think the AFC West, honestly, every division game could almost be won by the home team just because. So, I had the Broncos.
Well, last year, all 4 teams, one was 7-9, and the other 3 were 8-8. So it's not an elite division, but it's certainly parity.
Well, I do have 10-6 winning the AFC West.
All right. Who do you have? The Chargers?
I do. For some reason, I have the Chargers, and Norv Turner again gets the rabbit's foot, and probably, I would say 10-6 definitely keeps Norv employed.
I would think so too, although he's got to start doing something in the postseason as well.
Yeah, I would think that a postseason win might not hurt Norv's job security. either.
Yeah.
But Carl, definitely job security with you out of all the good reports and
Let's
anchors.
hope so.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's definitely knock on wood before we count any chickens. But as always, appreciate your time and look forward to having you back again very, very soon.
Thank you, and enjoy the games this weekend.